This is the induction to the Angels Hall of Fame. And as you see, I have the Angels Hall of Fame ring on that Artie Moreno, 2 years ago, he had 7 of these made up for the 7 members of the Angels Hall of Fame. And we were inducting Brian Downing and Chuck Finley one night at the stadium 2 years ago, and I was going to do a little introduction speech for Brian Downing. And so Artie and Carol Moreno were already on the field, and they were the first to introduce, and they introduced me to come out to talk about Brian. As I walked out, I went to shake Artie Moreno's hand, and he opened this ring box like this, and he goes, "Here." And here is this incredible diamond ruby ring that I went, "Oh, is this for Brian?" He goes, "No, it's for you." I went, "It's what?" And total surprise, and he ended up giving out 7 of those that night, not only, of course, to Finley and Brian Downing, but to the other 4 Hall of Fame, Angel Hall of Fame members as well. So it was a big surprise. It's one I wear a lot and with a lot of pride, and a lot of people notice it. And of course, I love talking about it. But it's a prized possession of mine for sure. And Mr. Moreno was incredibly gracious to have 7 of those made up for the 7 members of the Angels Hall of Fame. I think it was November of 1976, and I signed with the Angels, 5-year contract, and it was part of this new thing called free agency. And Andy Messersmith actually had not signed with the Dodgers the year before. Ted Turner with the Atlanta Braves signed him to a 3-year contract for $333,000 a year, the first $1 million contract. And Ted Turner, of course, had this new thing called cable television coming in. And Ted Turner wanted to have America's team. So he was kind of the black sheep and the maverick amongst the owners, and signed the first player to a free agency contract, which opened the opportunity and the floodgates for other players to do it. The very next year, I wanted to come back to California. I haven't been from Long Beach, and but you had to have 6 years in the big leagues. That in '76 was my 6th year, so I just got under the wire to qualify, and I wanted to come to California, and my agent was able to work it out with Mr. Harry Dalton, the general manager of the Angels. And so I was one of the first 32 guys to become free agents after the '76 season. And I realized my dream, and I joined Donnie Baylor and Joe Rudy as one of 3 free agents to sign with the Angels in 1976 for the '77 season. I think in 16 years of playing second base, I can remember getting rocked maybe 3 or 4 times. And the one that I remember the most, we were in a pennant drive in late September. We were in Kansas City on AstroTurf, and we were going head-to-head with Hal McRae, Amos Otis, George Brett, Quisenberry, Dave Leonard, all those guys. And it was a real important game. Bases were loaded late in the game, 1 out, and the Royals manager, Dick Hauser, ran a guy named Willie Wilson, who had just been called up as a September call-up. And I'm playing second base, and they said, "Now running number, whatever his number was, Willie Wilson." And I looked over, tall, lanky, slender, long-legged ball player. Didn't know him from Adam. We have a medium speed ground ball hit to Freddie Patek at shortstop playing for us. I took the throw, and I turned, and just as I turned, whammo. He smacked me, and he hit me low, and I went up into the air. My feet were just getting, like I was talking about earlier, my feet were just getting up in the air, and he hit me, and my feet went straight up in the air, and I was in a free fall, and I came down with my feet up there, coming down this way, and I landed right on my hip, right on my hip bone on my left side. Of course, I didn't make the double play. The fans gave him a standing ovation. You know what? I take that back. The umpire ruled a double play. He called interference on Willie Wilson, and the fans went nuts because it was really a clean takeout. He didn't do anything illegal. It was the hardest I ever got hit. They gave us the double play. We got out of the inning.